Snipers, you have to see what's happening to the Bitcoin price this Friday as I just landed in Europe and I have the emergency crew with me because this is an emergency Bitcoin price update. And if we look at what's happening to the 6-hour chart, we are seeing the most amount of volume that we've seen since the start of this downside move. And I had to get this video update out to you guys as I'm heading to Poland right now. And so this is gonna be a very quick update, but I think that with this 6-hour candle closing in less than 30 minutes, it's gonna give us a very strong indication of how price action is going to move through Friday and into the weekend where the cryptocurrency market is the most manipulated due to CME futures being closed. And so I had to get this video update out to you guys. Remember to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to our channel, youtube.com/snipers. If you support this content, let's just dive into the technical analysis. And by the way, $400 million in Bitcoin leaving exchanges today. And so that's a very positive sign that we could possibly see this pattern play out where we have an inverse head and shoulder, and at 40,000 US dollars, this is the max amount of downside we can see at this point to validate a bullish pattern for this to just be a garden variety retest of an important channel, which of course we know the range right now that we're playing in is 41,950 is a major resistance, 38,000 is our major support. And so if we're starting to see the institution step in here, this was actually a green candle before I started this video. Now it's red, so it's obviously flipping back and forth, but the point is it's the most amount of volume. And even on the left shoulder, it was a red candle that actually initiated the potential left shoulder support. And so if this ends up being green, that would even be a very bullish puzzle piece. But the fact of the matter is we're seeing volume here, and the S&P 500 has yet to form any further lows. And so as long as we do not form any further lows for the S&P 500 to close the week, which it's gonna have one last business day, and then we have a President's Day extended weekend, then that could take any further downside for Bitcoin off the table into the weekend, where we could see some price action back to the upside. This comes off the table, and then we can potentially, hopefully, get back above 41,950, where we have the weekly open and the previous weekly open, because that's the most important resistance that we have to get above. And so at this point, here's what I'm gonna say. On the 3-hour chart, because we're starting to see institutions step up here at 40,000, there's a potential that we bounce from here. If we do, we have to get above 41,950 with some momentum, preferably, to make the case that we could have an inverse head and shoulder pattern forming, where if we were to look at the potential target of this, let's just take the head of the inverse head and shoulders to the base. We are potentially looking at a breakout that could take us above the 200-day moving average and potentially even break above the midpoint of this channel, which means that we would not only get above the 200-day moving average, but we would get above the 20-week moving average. And so for the bulls, I always address both ends of the equation, the bearish and bullish case. This right now is our last chance to hold this extremely important structural support to form an inverse head and shoulder at 40,000. If we cannot hold this level, closing a red daily candle here, specifically a red 6-hour candle where we're starting to see volume, could be the early signs that it's not going to hold. But we are seeing an increase in volume. There's a potential it even closes green. If it closes green, that's even more bullish. Then we could have a potential bullish scenario. We just have to get above 41,950 because the range that we're in has a support of 38,000 at this point. So if we cannot see this continuation above 40,000 and we get down to 30,000, I don't believe we would see much price action below this level through the weekend. It is the most manipulated. So if we do see extreme amounts of manipulation, the worst case scenario, as long as S&P 500 doesn't form any further lows, is going to be coming back down to 34,000. I don't believe we'll breach this just yet, but that doesn't mean we're not going to see another continuation move to the downside later if this scenario ends up playing out. So we don't want to see 40,000 break. We don't want to see 38,000 come back on the table, and that would completely invalidate the inverse head and shoulder pattern. And when we look at what's happening to Ethereum, you can see it's really testing itself here, and we're still inside of the 50-day moving average if we want to consider this a range. So we haven't lost it yet with Ethereum. We could still see a bullish scenario play out. Like I said, $400 million in Bitcoin leaving exchanges. That's a very positive sign. What we are seeing right now is weakness with the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. So that's also a puzzle piece showing fear in the market. Of course, there's tons of narratives we can attach to why we're seeing fear in the market, but we can even look at this total market cap testing an extremely important support level right now at 1.78 trillion. Not a surprise, because just like Bitcoin is testing 40,000, if we break 1.78 trillion, isn't that crazy right now? Check that out. The total market cap testing 1.78 trillion right now is the equivalent of Bitcoin testing 40,000. Maybe that's why we're starting to see volume come in. So this truly is an emergency update. I had to get this update out to you guys. I don't even have a mask on. They might make me stop making this video in just a second. And so I'm gonna head out here in just a second to Poland. We have our whole group here to see Wim Hof for a winter expedition. But just like we predicted yesterday, we breached 41,950. It opened up the door to 38,000, but 40,000, I've said it before. I know I took it off the table several days ago, but I'm gonna just keep it on the table for this video. If we can at least see 40,000 hold, there's still a potential. There's a bullish case on the table. Then 41,950 has to be the level that we reconquer. If the S&P 500 doesn't see further sell-off as we close the week, that's a very positive sign for the weekend coming into Saturday and Sunday, where Bitcoin is the most manipulated. We could certainly see a lot of volatility there. If it's downside volatility, I think the max downside is 34,780. If it's upside volatility, I think we could even get towards 44,800 during the weekend, just because it's a weekend, right? So with that, thank you all for tuning into the Snipers channel today. It's getting late. I needed to get this update out to you guys with the 6-hour candle closing here soon, with volume finally coming in for this downside move. It's an important level, no surprise. And with that, thank you all for tuning into the Snipers channel today. Hope you enjoyed this video. Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and I'll see you guys soon. Hopefully we have internet connection in Poland. I'm not sure how that situation is going to work out, and so let's wish for the best. I hope I can continue these updates. I'm certainly going to be in the Discord, of course. It doesn't take as much bandwidth, but to upload a video, let's see how that works out here in Poland. I don't think it'll be an issue, but just wanted to give you guys a heads up just in case. So thank you all for tuning into the Snipers channel. I couldn't do this without you. I appreciate each and every one of you tuned into the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Snipers